Michael, first of all, just the latest on Adam Jackson. I know you're going to see how he settled down. How is he?
Yeah, not too good. Broken nose, so 2 massive black eyes, a bit worse for wear. So he's gonna struggle, for this game, and we'll see how long that's out for. Really,
I was going to say it's difficult, isn't it? I guess because you could go for the whole mask situation, but maybe that might not be easy for him to deal with in the centre.
Yeah, it takes probably a bit more time than that. So we'll have to see how he deals with it. I think, like you say, as a centre half, it's probably not the best situation to put them in. But yeah, he took a nasty elbow, I think, to the nose, which was not nice.
And such a shame for him, isn't he? Because he's such a key part of your team.
Yeah, big player, done really well. But I always say that's why we need the competition for places. And Pordy did well the other day coming on, and Alex Mitchell's now back, who's been doing well, and TJ did brilliantly when he came on as well. So I'm really pleased with the back line, and this is why we need the bodies ready.
And Ethan Hamilton and Freddie Draper, any change on them?
So Ethan, no change. So there's no change with Ethan at the minute. We'll see how that goes. Freddie, we're not sure yet whether he's going to make tomorrow or not. He's having probably more of a look over and a fitness test today. So yeah, let's wait and see on Freddie.
It's almost typical, isn't it? We talked about Burton and leaving players out your squad, and all of a sudden now it's turning the other way again, isn't it?
Yeah, football changes quick, and I think that's my philosophy on that has always been to keep calm and keep to your processes, because we know that players put their bodies on the line all the time and pushing themselves, and it's trying to manage the long-term injuries and keep that, making sure we don't make any decisions that make them any worse, but at the same time that you're going to lose people through injury and other situations. So yeah, we've gone from having to leave people out into a short bench probably.
And especially in the midfield area now with Conor McGrandles unavailable tomorrow, it'll give you a room for manoeuvre, I guess, or not much room for manoeuvre.
Yeah, and we knew this game would come because Conor's obviously on loan from Charlton, so we knew that this game would come when we signed him on loan, so that's not a surprise. We just thought we'd have a few more bodies there, but it's going to have to look at what we do, whether we change shape, whether we stay shape, whether we just go with different personnel in that role. But there's people that I think are really chomping at the bit, if you like, to come in and play. So for me now, it's for them to take their opportunity and do well on the day.
Is it difficult when you come up against a man who's been newly appointed to try and work out how they're going to play? Yeah,
really difficult. I think the good thing is we've got a little bit of inside information from Chris Cohen, who's worked with Nathan for a few years, so there's a little bit of understanding what he might do. But again, it's a new role for him. It's a new group of players, so you're always trying to guess. I think to some degree they have the upper hand of surprise on us if they do something different. But we've obviously watched the game from Reading already, and they were competitive in that game, and we think we know what they're going to do. But it's going to be a tough place to go on a Tuesday night. It's going to be Nathan's first home game, really experienced coach. Paul Hart's gone in with him again, another experience, but we know those guys quite well. So, but at the end of the day, the players play the game, and how well we can execute our plan against their plan, I think, will determine what we do.
Are they the surprise package in League One this year, the fact that they are where they are?
It's not for me to say, really. I wouldn't like to comment on either or. I think, it's been a difficult season, but I think every club goes through difficult patches at times, but I'm sure they'll be raring to go, and the change of management, as always, there's a natural manager bounce. But we just need to focus on ourselves like we did on Saturday, and I think sometimes you can get caught up on what other teams are doing, but we focus on ourselves a lot and what we can do and how we can hurt opposition and how we can be defensively strong, and that's all we're going to do for this game as well.
I know moods seem good around camp, even in the difficult run of form, but have you noticed a different change in the dressing room and a different change around the training ground since you've been able to get those couple of victories?
No, I'd say the mood's been good, honestly. I know people think that, and probably the mood outside has been different to the mood inside, but I'm really pleased with how the lads train every day. I can't express how well they train every day, and every day we push them a lot, and we try and get the most out of them. But they're a good bunch of lads. They work hard every day. And what we have got is a real togetherness, and I think you're starting to see that in games where at moments we're up until Saturday we'd had a few clean sheets against big opposition. So we've got a real together group who are prepared to run for each other and prepared to fight for each other. And I think you saw that on Saturday, even when it was getting a bit tasty, and elbows being flew and all sorts, And that's what's pleasing. I think, when they're playing for the shirt, it's really important. When they're playing for each other, it's a really powerful thing.
And does that make it easier for you as a coach that you can get your technical aspects across, because you don't have to worry about that side of the game because they're on top form when it comes to that?
I think we always have to worry about that side of the game, because I think it's one part of the game, the brilliant basics that I say, where you have to do the football things of heading the ball, winning second ball, running hard, pressing hard, counter-pressing hard. You have to do those things really well. They're what I call performance behaviours. You know, we always have to be on top of players about performance behaviours, but when they start to get those things right, you can then add more of the tactical information and they start to take more information on board. So we can't let that drop off. That's the bit that underpins everything we do. And I think, like you say, the last 4 or 5 games, when everybody's been back in the building and fit and getting going, we've seen a real quality of performance behaviours coming from the players.
You talked a little bit on Saturday about Ben House, and maybe he played a few more minutes the last couple of games than you would have expected him to. Do you have to be careful with him, especially in a week like this where you've got the 3 games?
For sure. I think that's probably been my toughest decision at the minute, because we've seen how Ben's come in and how well he looks and scoring goals, but you know, sometimes you have to make difficult calls, and I've got to make a difficult call with Ben whether or not we want to risk or don't risk, and that's with the medical team. Wacker does a great job here, you know, looking after the players. So yeah, I had a difficult job with the head of performance to know what's right for Ben. And of course, everybody wants to see Ben all minutes, every minute, doing well. But again, we've got good players and we've got good strikers that can come in and do that if we decide not to go with Ben or decide to go with Ben. But it's with that type of coming back from injury with Ben, it's more about his cumulative volume of minutes that we have to be careful with. So let's see how we manage Ben over the next sort of week or so.
And is that where football's changed in the years that you've been involved? 20 years ago it would be manager, decision, plays or doesn't play, whereas now there's a big team in and around making that call.
I think it's my call. It's always my call, and I want it to be that way. But in the same sense, you want all the available information and advice you can get from all your team. I think modern football is we have a big MDT, and everyone feeds into you, and assistant coaches and coaches support that decision. But ultimately, you have to make a call what's right, short term and long term for the club and for the team. But yeah, you want all the information, take that all in, and then make a decision. But I think it's changed. Yeah, definitely. It used to be you didn't worry about the sports science, seeing the medical back when I was playing 25. You just get back on, and yeah, I think there's a bit of a difference for that. And it's about making the right decision for the long term. You know, we've got 15 games left. You know, we don't want to do anything silly to compromise that if we can help it as coaching staff.